As human beings, we sometimes struggle to figure out what our purpose is on this planet. And so in this video, I'm going to go over 4 tools that you can use to figure out and help you with your purpose. Let's get into it. How do we figure out if we have purpose on this planet? It's a tough thing to figure out, to be honest. And I'm sure that philosophers over the last thousands of years have been trying to figure out, how do we have purpose? Now, I will say, I've been to church a few times, and most of the time when I'm in church, I hear people say to serve all the time. The pastor will say, you know, you need to serve others and all that jazz. And I think they're totally right, to be honest. The way you figure out your purpose is to understand how you can best serve other humans on the planet. And the way you're going to know and understand this is with one tool. It's with your heart, okay? Your heart is going to tell you if you have purpose in this life, and it's based on human feedback, okay? Human feedback is what gives us that feeling in our heart that we have purpose, that we have meaning. And it's the human experience, guys. That's what it's all about. And so that's the first tool you're going to use to know if you have purpose. And if you haven't been feeling that feeling in your heart, well, then you need to change your life to figure out how to get that feeling of purpose or meaning or satisfaction, so on and so forth. And what are the 3 other tools that you're going to use to make that happen, to make that change? Well, for one, you're going to use your brain. Okay, that's the first tool you're going to use to figure out how you have purpose and meaning in this life. Okay, and then the second tool you're going to use is probably your hands. Okay, your hands are super important when it comes to, you know, building things and making things happen, you know, even doing things on the computer. You know, you're going to use your hands to make that, the actions that your brain are trying to do, a reality, okay? And then the third tool you can use in certain circumstances are your feet or your legs, all right? Sometimes you might need to do work where you're going to transport something, or you need to transport yourself to someone out there in the community to help them out. Okay, so your feet and your hands and your brain is what you're going to use as tools to provide fulfillment and to provide meaning in this life or purpose in this life. And we understand our purpose when we get feedback from other human beings. It might be in your family, you know, you take care of your children or your spouse. And occasionally in this life, you get a thank you, or you get a smile from them, you know, or you get a hug from them because you provide compassion with your brain. And maybe you give them a hug back because it's a time of, you know, it's a rough time in your family, whatever it is, you know, or hey, guess what? Maybe it's holding their hand, you know, they're sick in bed or whatever it is. You have purpose in this world. And that's how you can do it too, through emotion as well. And that, you know, it kind of comes from your brain, you know, and obviously physical touch, whatever it is, okay? Now we can talk about that from your career. Okay, I know a lot of people out there are complaining about the 9-to-5 jobs and all that, all right? Now, some 9-to-5 jobs aren't very fulfilling. They don't really provide much purpose. But at the end of the day, you're probably inadvertently supporting a customer, okay? It may not be directly, but it's indirect, right? Maybe you're like in the tech space and you're sitting in a cubicle writing software or writing standard operating procedures or updating an Excel spreadsheet, whatever it is. At the end of the day, there's probably a customer behind the scenes, and that's what you have to think of, is that you're helping that customer, you know, fulfill something of their needs at the end of the day. It's all about other humans' needs when it comes down to fulfillment and purpose in this life. I mean, even if, let's say you're a cashier at a grocery store You know, maybe most of the people that walk through there, maybe they don't say thank you, but maybe one person out of each day says thank you to you because they appreciate you being there, scanning their grocery items and putting them in their cart or whatever it is. You know, and then that's when you feel that purpose, like, oh, I solved someone's problem. They needed to get food at the grocery store, so on and so forth. And so maybe if you don't feel fulfillment or purpose in your career or this life, you need to go find that right career or that job to get that feeling in your heart like, oh, I'm making an impact. I'm making a meaning in this life. Now, you got to come at it from the customer's perspective and your teammates' perspective when it comes to a job. I'll give you my example in a second. You can't think of things from the boss or the ownership level. You're not trying to serve them at the end of the day. I mean, don't think that way, because that will just, you know, burn you at the end of the day. There's always going to be an owner of probably any company that you may not vibe with, that you don't feel you have purpose in this life. But at the end of the day, there is a customer with that company that is doing business with you, whether it's, like I said, the grocery store, or like what I do. I write software development, and people take my software and they use it for their livelihood, guys. They use it for their livelihood. So I know that I have purpose and meaning in this life. This product I created, people are using it in the real world. And I'll be honest, you know, the product I created, it's generating millions of dollars in revenue. Do I see all that? No, I don't get paid all that. Guess who else gets paid? My colleagues. I've got tech support people, I've got other engineers. And so that's how I know, okay, if I do work for this company, whether or not I see it or not, I know that I'm feeding families, okay, guys? And that's how I know there's a purpose to this life. I'm helping feed other families by the small improvements I'm making on the product I have, and so on and so forth. This YouTube channel, I'm using it as a tool to provide purpose and meaning to my life, because I know I'm making an impact out there. I've had a couple of comments that say that, you know, I'm making a difference. Please keep posting videos. So this is a way I'm trying to figure out how to fulfill and have purpose in my life. And there's tons of tools like this out there, you know, whether it's YouTube or Reddit or, you know, Facebook even. I'll even give other social media platforms a boost, but you know, you got to figure out what you want to do in life. And that's how you're going to find purpose and meaning. So don't get down on yourself. You know, don't get depressed with the fact that this world is kind of a crazy world and there's all this social media pressure and you see a lot of negativity in the world and you may not feel like you have meaning anymore or purpose, but you do. You do. You just got to find it. You got to go out there, find it in your career, go find it out in a family that maybe you need to start, or go find it in your community. There are tons of things that you can do in your community. You can volunteer all over the place, you know, feed the homeless, or go volunteer for the local Little League. You know, you want to interact with the parents there and help serve them, whatever it is. And I'm telling you, you're going to get a thank you at these things that you volunteer for. You will, honestly. People have good hearts at the end of the day, not behind the keyboard, okay? Behind the keyboard, everyone's a keyboard warrior and they'll say anything in the world. But in the real world, and you get out there and you shake a person's hand and you have a smile and you have a small chat, that's when you know you'll have purpose and meaning in this life. And I think that's gonna do you good over time. It'll get you success in this world because you'll build confidence. Okay, confidence breeds success. Okay, and that's where you will get more and more fulfillment the more confident you are and the more you interact with other human beings. So at the end of the day, think about this when it comes to your career and your family. It's all about serving. It's not about yourself anymore. You'll get that back when you get those thank yous and the emotional feelings you have with other people, you know, when you're around other people. We got to get back to that in this world. We're so stuck in this digital world that, to be honest, it's only been around for 20 years. You know, this is like a 20-year experiment with digital technology that we're just stuck in our screens on. And so from time to time, we got to shut those things down. We got to shut them down, go out there in the community, and go out there with your colleagues too, you know, help them do their job, and you'll feel fulfilled even then. You know, you'll get a thank you from time to time. So it's all about serving other human beings at the end of the day. That's how you find purpose in this life. And so, you know, I've heard this from time to time over the years. I heard it, you know, I've been to church once or twice in my life, and I always remember them saying the point of things is to serve others. And I really think that's true. You know, if there's anything I'll take away from the Sunday church service, is that serving others is an important factor in which they talk about. You know, they do all those, what do you call them, trips like overseas or whatever, and they go set up, you know, whatever, feeding, you know, people overseas, third world countries. And that's what they're doing. They're going to serve. Now they might be spreading the word, obviously, but yeah, I think in general though, they get the gist of how to build purpose and meaning for this life. So anyways, hopefully this helps you guys out there. If you're young, if you're struggling with things, even if you're middle-aged and old, you might be struggling. Come back to this concept of serving, because I think it'll help you. And yeah, anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. How are you guys serving the world? You know, what are some strategies that you're using, and maybe I can do more future videos on it, because this is an important topic that I don't think it's talked about enough when it comes to building wealth. Because building wealth comes down to having people in your community get you there, honestly. And it's not about you, it's about you serving others at the end of the day. So anyways, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. And if you guys could, like and subscribe to the content if you do like the content. And take a look at my previous video if you could. And everyone, have a great day. Thanks.